learn in her class if you can get past her sarcasm. And here I was thinking, oh.
Was she lying?
No. No, she wasn't lying.
Vernita.
KiMi.
It's so good to see you.
It's always
How
good.
are you?
I'm great. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Listen, you picked me up this morning.
I did. And we drove here.
And I had to text you like, yo, look, don't come. A brother is not ready. Because I'm usually on time.
Huh. That's what you call it. Yeah. No, you're not usually on time.
What's the huff?
Because you're not usually on time. I just need to know if we're telling the truth on this podcast or not. If we are, then no.
So you are already starting this?
No, I'm not going to start it. But let's just say, what do you want to say? I'm going to follow you. You're always on time?
A little variation
You're
here
absolutely
and
right.
there.
You're absolutely right. I agree.
You look good.
Thank you. Now that's the truth. We are telling the truth.
Now I'm telling the truth.
I do.
Now I'm telling the truth.
You look great. Those colors are matching me.
Oh man, and just think, 6 years ago, like I didn't even know you existed.
Mm-hmm. We met each other in a summer math program, because we both love math. We both love education. We both love just teaching our young folks, especially children of color. Children that are marginalized, and we met in an arena like that.
But now I'm gonna keep it real. Like when I first met you, you came on that Zoom like, yeah, I'm the shit. I know how to do math. I know how to teach math. You just came with this whole energy. I was like, oh,
yeah, I'm still that way.
I see.
I'm still that way.
It don't change.
No, I know math and I know how to teach it. I know how children learn. Yeah, all of that. But maybe I could change my face. Is that what you're trying to tell me? I could have.
No. Like your facial expressions are always hilarious.
I just needed to know if I was in like-minded company. That's all. That's all I wanted to know. And I am. Look, here we are 6 years later.
And here we are. And it's crazy because now I feel like I literally can't do life without you.
Oh, I feel you too.
It was crazy. One night I was in bed and you literally, your name pops up on my screen. I was like, what does she want? Like, I've seen her all day today. Like, and you called me and you said, KiMi. And I said, what's up, Vernita? You said, if I ever need you to ride for me,
I remember that day.
is your answer yes? And I said, oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. And you said, you're not going to ask me any questions? I said, no. You said, are you going to tell me what you need from me? And I said, no. You were like, okay.
Do or die.
And then you were like, have a good night. That was the weirdest ass call.
Huh. Not for me.
But it also, like, I was like, oh, we locked in.
Yeah. I just needed to know. Yeah.
Like, so I was like, and I didn't go to sleep for a little while because I was like, I had my shoes by the bed and I was like, yo, do I need to like, just in case I need to just hop up real quick? And
I could tell you probably what was happening. I might have been watching kind of some murder mystery. I needed to know.
And I needed to ride with you?
If I need an alibi, first of all, if I need somebody to ride, and then I might have been watching Raising Cain. It makes me think of certain things when I watch that show.
Raising Cain and let me just say the whole Power series, like literally.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I'm moving weight.
Yeah. I needed to know, if I was Rock, are you gonna be down?
Oh.
Right? So
man.
It might have been that. It could have been that.
Okay.
I really
I'm
know.
always down for some illegal.
No, gosh. And legal.
Let me fix that. Yeah.
It's important for me to know who's real. There are only a few people outside of my family that I trust with everything. And you're one of those people. So, yeah.
Man, I love it. And, it's crazy. We're doing this podcast, but we are both some really private people.
Yeah, really.
And we have a close circle of family, friends, and a tight ecosystem.
Yeah.
And I value you.
Yeah.
We work hard. We play hard. But there's just a love, a genuine love. Like, Oh, I'm riding. For Vernita? Oh, yeah, I'm riding. Somebody say something? Oh, I'm riding.
Right.
Somebody look at you crazy? I'm riding. And it's to the point, like, you know, even when we left the office yesterday, right? We had just, you know, and I'm sure we'll talk more of this with the audience, but, you know, we're developing an immersive storytelling academy for middle school students. We're going to Pan-African that thing out, black it out, right? Yeah. And you and I had just finished constructing like this whole mapping lesson we're doing in 2D and 3D, just had some good discussion. We both were tired, exhausted. We had to prepare and get ready for today. And driving home, as I always do, you follow right behind me because, you know, your sense of direction is a little... I can't always
remember exactly which way. But you get me there every day. And then I remember.
Your sense of direction is just a little wild.
Yeah.
And... yeah, wild. So you're always right behind me. Because I want to get you to the freeway. Yes. So you can hit that express lane. And
then you could go.
And then you...
then you can go.
Oh, you just like the... But on our normal route going home, I literally noticed that a car got in front of you.
Yeah, I was.
And I was like, why Vernita let this car get in between us? And he was going slow. I was a little annoyed. Then I made a right hand on the corner, at the stop sign, make a right turn.
In South LA, you did.
In South LA. And then there's cops walking in the middle of the street while I'm actively driving. And then they pull the flashlight out.
That's right.
And they shined it on my face.
While you were driving.
While I was driving.
Super safe.
So one shined his light in my face. And then the other one did the same thing like his partner did, and they both laughed. Had you not been behind me, and so I immediately called you because you know my first reaction is to
pull over.
Pull the window down.
Say something.
Why the did you flash that light in my face? Like, it's nighttime, bro. Like,
so glad. So glad you didn't.
And you calmed me all the way down because you know your boy can go left sometimes.
Yeah, and it wasn't the time for them to be shown up. It was a lot of them that I remember. They were lined up down the street, down the block. It had to be at least 5 or 6 cars that carry at least two folks in them. And for you to have stopped and rolled down your window, even in their wrong, it just wouldn't have been a good night. We might not have made it here today. Just knowing.
I was so furious in that moment. But when I called you, you calmed me down. Yeah. You were like, KiMi, we got so much great work to do.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay. But I was furious.
I know. And the thing to think about is I remember telling you a few things. I don't remember all of it, but I do know that we have a work to do. And it was put on your heart and my heart, even separately, and now joined together. But we have a work to do, and we can't be sidetracked by evil. We just can't. So those police officers, whoever you are, shining lights in drivers' faces and thinking it's funny, shame on you. And I know this is an educational podcast, but I'm going to say it again. They were in danger and didn't even know it, right? Because you can't mess with his anointed and play and just be okay. So I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad you didn't stop. I'm glad that you were able to calm down, pull it together, because we got a work to do today. In fact, I know our conversation today is going to kind of lead into something that even resembles that kind of story, even with a young child on campus.
Oh, man. And we definitely going to get into it. But at that very moment, it just assured me that you and I are locked in for life.
For real. We locked. You can't. You got 2 choices.
And I love you like a fat kid love cake.
Yeah.
And ain't nothing you can do about it.
You really got 2 choices. Either I'm gonna be with you or you gonna be with me. But we gonna
it's
be
one of the two.
Locked together. Together. Friends like this don't come every day. So
I'm glad you're in my life, kid.
You too.
You gotta get into this whole duct tape situation.
So
pull it up, pull it out, pull it on
right,
up.
let's
What happened here?
So KiMi, just recently on April 1st, you know, you and I, we work closely with Pasadena Unified. It's great folks there.
Oh man, we love
Amazing
PUSD.
folks. In fact, that academy you're talking about,
Pasadena Unified. Yeah, shout out to Dr. Liz, Superintendent.
Yeah.
Dr. Elizabeth Blanco, Dr. Helen Hill. We love us some Helen.
Yeah.
That's the Chief Academic Officer.
Dr. Nadira.
Dr. Nadira Nayo.
Yes.
Yeah. Me and her always fighting, but it's nothing but love there. That's my girl. That's my homie.
And the parent council.
Oh, the African American Parent Council. So much love. So I know we're going to get into it, but Pasadena, we got a lot of love for Pasadena Unified.
We do.
The people that work there, the staff. Sherry, Mama Sherry in the building. It's so much love from Pasadena.
Yeah.
But get into it. Let's tell the people what are you talking about?
So the title for the LA Times says security officer made a Pasadena middle schooler duct tape her own mouth shut.
Oh.
The father says.
Oh.
And so I'll just read a little bit. It says a security officer forced an 11-year-old girl to duct tape her mouth shut at a Pasadena middle school because she was talking too loud and giggling during a lunch break, according to the girl's father. Okay. The Pasadena School District fired the security officer after school officials became aware of the incident, and the girl's family has filed a police report. The safety and well-being of our students is our top priority, the district said in a statement. While we cannot comment on pending litigation, we take concerns like this very seriously and are cooperating fully with the Pasadena Police Department. We are committed to maintaining a safe and supportive environment for our students. So that was put out. And so, you know, when I heard this, when you and I were both shocked when we first heard it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our mouths dropped open. And
I wish you would duct tape my mouth.
I wish
Go for it. Try it. Try it if you want to.
It would be a problem, like a whole problem. And somebody that I love, just even listening to the father, I think I saw a clip of the father speaking. He was just calm and composed. But I wish I just knew that somebody even thought about duct taping a kid that I love, mouth closed. I don't think I would have been able to contain my composure.
Yeah, and, you know, again, I can't reiterate enough. Shout out to our PUSD because once they found out about the situation, they immediately got rid of it, took all the necessary procedures they needed to do to get rid of this security guard that probably was hired from a vendor.
Yeah, they were.
That worked with PUSD, but PUSD is the district. It's going to get the sound bites. It's the entity, so they're going to go and run with it. So we know and love people in PUSD, and we know they wouldn't stand for any type of behavior like this, right? But I think for me, I just put myself in that position, right, Vernita? As a kid, a security officer comes up to me and tells me, put the duct tape over my mouth. You know what I'm doing? I'm like, call my mama. Actually, before I say that, I'm like, let's run into the office. Let's just run into the office. I'm going to look at you like you're crazy. Let's run into the office. And we need to get some adults involved here, mainly my mom, my family. Call somebody that's on my emergency contact list because I'm not even doing what you're saying, bruh.
And even if I am.
I'm not.
This is not the response. Even if I am, even if I'm loud, even if I'm being a kid, right? Even if I'm being just loud and twirly. I think the article talked about her twirling with her friends or whatever. Number one, I'm 11.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
That's what I do, especially during recess, right?
Right, in between lunchtime. That's what I do. I twirl and I giggle and I'm loud with my friends so that when I get back to class, I'm ready to learn. And so even if I am all of that, your response as a responsible adult should not be where did you even get duct tape from? Like, do you walk?
Right, I'm like,
why is she walking around on campus?
Where the hell did the duct tape come from?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't know what you're doing with duct tape in the first place. That's suspicious in itself. But even with that, your response is not tape your mouth closed. Like, that's not the response. And so, it just raises a lot of questions. And like you said, we know that there are wonderful people that work in PUSD, right? But this lady, This lady, wherever she came,
was it a guy?
No, it was a woman.
Oh, it was a woman.
It was
wow.
a woman.
Okay.
This person, right, that came from this hired security corporation. Shame on them. Shame on them.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to a larger issue, Vernita, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody just can't be in front of kids, man.
Everybody shouldn't be in front of kids.
And you and I have seen it over and over again, right? In our time in education, right? Yeah. Audience, I've taught elementary, middle, high school, and then became a university professor. And we'll get into all of that later, right? And you yourself, secondary, all that good stuff. And we've worked with people where like, you know what? They really shouldn't be around kids.
Yeah, why are you even applying for this position? Right? You don't even seem like you like children. Like what is the thing? And KiMi, you and I were talking about this a while ago. And it's always been in my mind, we don't do a psych evaluation. We do psych evaluations for other jobs that are really important.
Yeah.
Right? Those police officers, as crazy as they acted last night, still had to take a psych evaluation just to get where they are. Right? Just different roles that we deem important require you to do some personality or psych assessment. Education is the one place that I know, at least here in SoCal, we don't require that. We require other stuff.
So you saying we just let the crazies on in? We just let the crazies on in. That's what you're saying?
If you have a degree and you have determination to work and get that credential, right? And
yeah, because I mean, we gotta be real with it. There's always a teacher shortage because people don't want to go into teaching. Number one, because of the pay. Number two, because folks just are like, I don't really want to do this.
I get all of that, but what we should consider is that teachers are the adult that is around children during their waking hours, their most awake hours, right? Teachers are. And so why wouldn't you want to just see, is there something kind of off about you, right? Why wouldn't you want to see if there's some help that people need before they get in front of children? Why wouldn't you want to see, I know we run background checks, but that doesn't tell it all because you don't know when certain behaviors show up. You know what I'm saying? And so just because it wasn't in my past doesn't mean it won't be in my future. And so I'm thinking there might be something in the system that needs to be checked.
But now, okay, and I hear you on that. And I agree with you on that. The psych evals, I think, is necessary, particularly with teachers. Because I think teachers go through a lot of shit and we just push it under the rug or we don't even talk about it or we don't even think about it. True. But with that aside, for me, as a kid, you're not talking to me crazy. Yeah. And little KiMi, like, hey, I've heard teachers say, oh, do this and do. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. Yeah. And you got a problem with that? Call my mom. So immediately, if this woman would have even just looked at me with the duct tape, number one, my spidey senses would have went up and like, what the hell's going on here? But then when she told me to put that over my mouth, I would have been like, yeah, let's run to the office, ma'am. Let's hit it to the office because a phone call needs to be made. And so oftentimes for me, what the bigger issue is are we teaching kids to just straight up be compliant at school and not have a sense of agency? Let me tell you something. No teacher, no principal, nobody could tell me anything. And if I didn't agree with it, I had a sense of agency where I was like, let's run to the office. Yep. Let's go call my mom. Let's go call my grandpa, call my uncle, call whoever you need to call because I'm not doing this and I'm going to have someone in my family back this shit up. Right. And so why aren't we teaching kids? Because I have a high degree of agency and teachers and administrators and principals, nobody was going to talk sideways to me crazy or anything. If I felt you were out of pocket, immediately, let's run into the office. And dial one of their numbers because they're going to come here and I'm going to tell them what's going on and they're going to have my back. The main thing my family always told me, they said, KiMi, always tell us the truth. And we got your back. The minute you lie to us, now we're going to take the side of the teacher. Now we're going to take the side of the administrator, whoever. But you always come to us in truth. We got your back 1,000%. I mean, on the low, even then they were like, even if you lie, like, we still got your back, but now you just making a fool out of us in front of a whole crowd of people, right? So I always just had a sense of agency, Vernita, where you're not running no duct tape across my mouth. Run it to my parents. So I see in the photo, I saw the daughter and her dad.
Yeah.
Dad, like, empower her to have agency. So the next time somebody run across her with some duct tape stuff, call my dad.
Right. And hopefully there's no next time. That was just a bizarre situation in the first place. I think, and in no way are we saying support defiance, but there should be a no in your child when something's not right. And I'm trying to think of me. So I was opposite. My parents absolutely believed the teacher.
Oh, man.
I would get home and I try to, because little Vernita was a little KiMi. I don't know. Yeah, we were probably the same. But
I wasn't.
You didn't know. We were the same. No, what is that? Angel wings under your chin? What is that? No. We were the same. And so I would go home in trouble. Oh, that's the face. That's good face. Love it. Okay, so I go home with my note from my teacher, and I've already thought about how to plead my case. And as soon as my mother got the letter, she's like, so the teacher's lying? Well, what I can't do is say yes, right? Because
I would be like, hell yeah.
No, that's extra.
Yeah, mama said she lying.
Extra. That's extra. So, well, no, ma, she's not, and I couldn't say lie back then. So she's not telling the story. What I want to say is, I don't think she's captured the whole thing. And so I remember trying to plead my case. But also, I never had something happen to me like happened to this girl, right? No one's ever asked me to do something. No adult has ever asked me to do something that was just completely against my civil rights, period. And so, because that's really what this is. And so even if an adult asked me to do whatever they asked me to do, I was that. Now, that truth component was the same with my family. So when I came home, I'm going to tell the truth. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did that. No, she's not telling the truth about that, because what I did do was whatever I needed to say that I did. And like you, I had the support of my family. I know that there were times where my older sisters, when we were living on the East Coast, and there were teachers that did not look like us. And they had, in fact, my older sister, the one right over me, oh gosh, she's not going to be happy that I said this, but I remember one teacher recommended to my mom and dad that she should be tested for special needs because she cartwheels when everybody else is walking in a straight line, and she just did everything differently, right? And so now she's an attorney.
Say it,
and doing great, and doing great.
Absolutely.
And so and no, she didn't have special needs, right?
Yeah.
And so, but there was enough in my sister to comply where she needed to, but go home and exactly tell my parents what exactly was going on. And that lasted half a second, right? It lasted half a second for this teacher to have any authority over my sister. My mom and dad moved her where she needed to be moved and let them know. I don't know what other children you have here, but these right here, let us know. And so it's a balance between agency and not a soft balance. I mean a hard, strong balance of agency and just really students being able to do what they need to do, right? Do what's right, do what you need to do, and know when it's wrong, tell who you need to tell, and say no when you need to say no. I think I didn't have enough in me to, like you would, to say, let's go to the office.
Yeah, let's
What
run
I would have done is I would have said no.
OFFICE.
I wouldn't have spelled it
Let's
either.
go to the office.
I wasn't a good speller. But I would have said no, and then I would have went back playing. She would have physically had to put hands on me because I would have said no, and then I would have went and played with my friends. We wouldn't have finished the conversation. And then I would have gone home and told my father, hey, Daddy, this lady told me to put duct tape on my mouth. Because he asked us every day, how did your day go?
I would have marched to the office with the duct tape in my hand.
Where would you
Call her.
You would have grabbed the tape?
Call her.
That was
Call her off that job. Call Donna right now. No, seriously.
Yeah.
Because there was even a time, I was listening to you talk, there was even a time where I got into a fight with the principal's son.
Huh. Did you win?
Oh, of course. We was tussling, man. Tussling. I was in a fight with him. And in my head, I'm like, oh, shit. Now it's going to be a whole big thing. Like, principal's kid, blah, blah, blah. She going to take his side, whatever. So we go into her office, and I'm waiting. Like, I'm not going to press that family card yet. I said, I'm going to just see what happens. So she says, at that time, it was a private school. So then the paddle was on the wall. So she literally looked and said, all right, KiMi, grab that paddle. And I said, for what? She says, oh, I'm about to paddle you. I said,
oh,
call the house. She says, oh, no, I'm going to do it. I said, you're not touching me. Do you understand? Call my pawpaw. At that time, my grandfather, he was close to the school. So I said, call my pawpaw. And she says, I think they would agree. I said, call him.
Huh.
And my grandfather got there and said, yeah, you're not touching him. Oh, they both were fighting? Yeah, no. You do what you want to. And him, this one, is there any work he needs to take home for the day? He says, we're going home. Mm-hmm. My papa took me to McDonald's, him and I. We did my homework when we got to the crib. Ate McDonald's, done. But he listened to me.
Yeah.
He asked me, what happened? Mm-hmm. Why did we get into a fight? Mm-hmm. And all of the things. I grew up in a family where there was heavy discussion.
Yeah.
And so I always felt safe.
Yeah.
To always just tell the truth. Mm-hmm. Tell them actually what happened. And my family had my back. So they weren't always first to go to, and I know when my grandfather got there, when I make the call to my grandfather, now he got to call everybody on the family tree. Mm-hmm. So everybody now know KiMi just got into a fight. Now everybody's going to descend on the school. Yeah, my grandfather's like, no, I got it. I'm going to roll up there, right? Mm-hmm. And he comes, and the principal's kind of giving him heat, but he's like, I got to talk to KiMi. Without you two in the mix. And so from then on, Vernita, all throughout my educational journey, I've realized my family developed a high degree of agency in me. And even as an educator, I always built that trust with my parents. I always told my parents, hey, look, I'm going to do right by your kid. I'm going to give your kid the best possible education that I can give them. I'm going to love on them and I'm going to support them. But I mess up.
Yeah.
And when I mess up, call me out on my bullshit. Mm-hmm. And if your kid comes home and tells you something, believe them before you believe me. And that for me is just family, man. And I don't know if we've taken this whole authoritative position when we talk about classrooms, when we talk about teaching, that empowers people like the duct tape person to just be like, yo, this is fly. Let me do this and have this kid do this. It leads to this complicit behavior. And it also just leads to the fact of we're not honoring Black and brown kids' voices.
I agree.
And they're taught to sit down, shut up. You and I talk about this a lot. In most of our Black and brown schools, kids are taught to be worker bees, while in white schools and all these other affluent schools, they're taught to be leaders. And you ain't telling a kid, because you tell a kid something and it's wild, they go home to mom and daddy. Mom or daddy is an attorney. Yeah. And now they suing the school. But when we go into areas, lower income areas, and they don't have that access and they don't have that privilege, we're like, oh, the kid can just, whatever the teacher say, yeah, let's go for it. No.
Yeah, that idea of agency is important, especially in children's learning. It helps to unlock that, what we call an independent learner. Yeah, right?
For sure.
Because if students, you and I were watching a clip the other day, and the teacher was writing something on the board and said, do you remember this clip? She said, I'm writing what you're saying. And if what I'm writing down doesn't make sense, then you're not making sense.
Exactly. What kind of bullshit is that?
You said it, not me. I'm saying, first of all, that's not your job. Your job is not to point out to children whether you think they're making sense or not. Your job is very simple. It's to ensure that children learn. Your job, KiMi always said, I'm a Vygotsky through and through. There is no teaching. There's only learning.
Man.
And so that idea of agency, because I know the students that I taught, now a lot of them had an innate sense of agency because they were quick to say.
You had a room full of little KiMi.
If I had said that, they'd be like, what'd you say? What'd you say? And so just thinking back though, I really wish, they didn't speak in this article or whatever that clip, were we reading something or watching something? Whatever
I think it was an article we were checking out.
It was an article we were reading. Yeah. And whatever it was that we were reading, they didn't say how children responded. But my hope is that they responded in protest. First of all, that's not even nice to say. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that idea of authoritativeness that you're talking about that is happening on our campuses, whether it's a security or a teacher or an AP or a principal or whoever it is, right? That authoritative situation that's happening on campuses now, I'm really hoping that children are able to say, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
No, I'm not putting tape on my mouth. No, it might not make sense to you, but it makes sense to me, and here's why. And I don't need to justify it to you. If it's not what you were looking for, then you as the adult need to have enough wherewithal in you to explain what it was or connect my ideas to yours. That's good educators. And I know in this podcast, we were talking the other day, who are we trying to reach? We're just trying to reach anyone that cares about the quality education of children. Yeah. Period. Point blank. Right. And so, but that idea of when that teacher said that, I just thought, I remember, there's a website, I don't know what it's called, but it's something like rate your teacher, or whatever. And I remember when I was at a prominent high school.
Now, let me tell you, those, when I was a college professor, I had to rate my professor, and somebody went on there and gave me a trash ass review. But it was because they were failing my class. Yeah. And they wanted to do some makeup shit. And I was like, no, duh. Yeah, you gotta do. Because I make my shit super duper fun, easy, cool. And they never did. And I'm not trying to stress you out, but I'm trying to empower you and really help you become an engaged, critical thinker. Oh, she went on rate my professor and slam me. Slam me, bruh. Well, and I was like, so if someone's reading this, they really think, he comes off as nice and he's really a cold fish, or little mama put a lot of thought into this shit. And I was like, can I reply back to this shit? Because you failing my shit, dog. I don't know if I You ain't doing the shit. You ain't doing your work, dog.
So she was upset.
And I just laughed when I saw the review. At first I was,
upset.
Then I started laughing.
I know you were probably hot. You were upset we're saying it nice on the cast, but you were hot. I know. Well, I similarly I saw a lot of nice comments. I didn't even know this little thing existed. And this is for a high school. I wasn't teaching at a high school. Okay. Well, it was nice comments until it got to this one. And the girl said, well, and back then, I wasn't married, so it was my maiden name. Miss maiden name, right? Mm-hmm. You can learn in her class if you can get past her sarcasm. And here I was thinking,
was she lying?
No. No, she wasn't lying. But it made me check myself. And the first thing I was upset about was, why you ain't saying that? If you didn't appreciate that, y'all told me plenty of things during class time. Why wasn't that one of them? And it wasn't like I didn't create the space in my class for it to be our class, for kids to talk like they needed to talk. So I think when I read it a few times, and several years afterward, number one, it did make me check myself and say, Nita, just because you think it's funny, don't mean everybody think it's funny. Yeah. Right? Number two, if she thought enough, even in between her learning, to write about that sarcasm, it must have hit her in a different way that wasn't nice, right? And so it just made me start to check myself a little bit more about my funny, and to still check in with students, making sure everybody's still good with what came out of my mouth, right? Staying human. Yeah. But if children, the worst part,
girl, get a sense of humor. Stop being politically correct, Vernita. Girl, get a sense of humor.
Maybe I wasn't funny, but I thought I was hilarious. But also just
lighten up.
More so, thinking it really hit me what was it? And there's only been a few times in my career I felt this way, but what was it that made it so you couldn't tell me that? Like, you had to put it on a platform for everybody to read, and which is fine. But what was I not doing to make you feel safe enough to say, hey, you know,
hey, like, I ain't feeling your jokes.
That wasn't nice. I ain't like that. Because I know I would have done it.
Okay, so you raise a good point.
Yeah.
So how did that really shift?
The way I go? I started having more one-on-one check-ins, right? You know, when kids walk in, usually, you know, we fist bump or whatever you do to greet your children at the door. Well, those of us that greet our kids at the door, right?
Whatever you sit your ass down.
Right. Get started. Whatever it is, but it changed. It didn't, honestly, KiMi, it didn't change right then. It changed the second time I heard something like that made me self-reflect. My line was coming in.
So let me ask you this. When you heard it the first time, were you just, and be real, were you just like, this is just a little, this is one person?
No, I checked myself.
Okay.
So I what made me change after that first one was just kind of checking in as a whole, though, with kids, one-on-one a little bit, too, to say, make sure everybody was okay, paying more attention to facial expressions when I would say stuff. Because I let a lot of things fly from my mouth as a teacher. Yeah. And some good, some I regret, right? And so, but as I heard the second round, I remember there was a girl walking in and kids were congratulating her. And I was like, I finally asked her, hey. And she was a quiet girl, great girl. She said, I said, why is everybody congratulating you? And she told me whatever little feat that she had done. And I said, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. And KiMi, that girl looked me, and she was a sixth grader, I'll not gonna forget. She looked me square in the face and said, how would you know?
Damn.
Right.
Oh, I know that cut, dog.
So agency like a mug, right?
Yeah.
She had it. She was like, how? And she didn't mean.
Little KiMi in effect.
Yikes. I mean, she wasn't trying to be mean or anything, and she was just honest. Like, it's not like you ever asked. You know what I mean? Like, she could have added. She didn't need to add anything to it. I was clear. And I was like, you're right. My bad. And so I started changing my question, not like, how are you doing? But I used to do, I got this from a teacher in Florida. I used to do A Day, which was on Monday. And so you got a chance, everybody one-on-one, you got something to say about what's going on good in your life. And we all just raise our hands and say, hey.
Oh, that's dope.
Right. So A Day, we started doing that after her. Like, after she said, how would you know? It's not like you asked me.
Man. And I know that hit you hard. Yeah. And that also kind of hit me hard when I noticed, you know, my very first year of teaching, parents would kind of just drop their kids off in my classroom and keep it moving. And I was like, do these parents know they got like some real agency with me? Like, I don't want you to be that mom, that dad, that uncle, that brother, that sister, whoever you are. Foster mom, foster dad. I don't want you to be that person that's just dropping your kid off to me. Yeah. Like, this isn't transactional for me, dog. And it was at that moment where I was like, yo, I'm bringing everybody in. So I was like, I went to my principal, was like, yo, open this joint up on Saturday, because I worked in a community where my parents worked 2 and 3 jobs, trying to make ends meet. So they didn't have time for a whole lot of parent-teacher conferences, come up here for that, this, that. They didn't have that. So often when people say the word parental involvement to me, I have them rethink that. What does that look like? Because that looks very different in various social classes. Yeah. Because my mom could pull up anytime. True. I always signed my mom up for room mom, so I'd be close to the money.
Signed your mom?
I signed her up. I was like, I want you to, lady, you're going on every field trip. You're going on everything. Because I wanted the dollars right there with me. So if we were at Disney, I could get whatever I wanted. If we were at wherever, I want the money right by me. So I signed my mom up every year. My mom literally, one year, she looked at me, she said, I don't want to do this KiMi anymore. I said, what's the problem? So now I'm like, well, now you run the money. Which one we doing? You either show up, you've got the money, or you put it in my pockets, right? So I always just wanted my mom for that reason. But I know, right? But I noticed that so many kids just didn't, their parents just didn't feel like drop them off. And so that's when I started opening up my school on Saturdays, come in, get to know the families. Because I feel like I'm not just educating that child. I'm a part of their ecosystem. I'm a part of their world.
Yes.
And so wherever's a part of their world, I want to be a part of that
stakeholder.
too.
You know, I didn't feel that until I joined the Algebra Project. I'll name it. And I was able to loop with students. 4 years, I was their math educator at high school. And it was probably the best 4 years.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Career.
I never got to do that shit. Oh, I'm so jealous of that.
But that I became a stakeholder, right? I knew their families. I at that time, I remember I was coaching. Oh gosh, I'm gonna say this again. I don't know who's watching this, but
we're gonna get into it. You know, in some episodes, how you was an athletic director and that you can ball. We gonna get into that.
I was coaching, and one of the moms of a girl I had, I think she was in my geo class. One of the moms found out, and it was gonna be a hard game. Like, you're not supposed to say this, but it was gonna be a tough game to win. Beat this school. We never beat them. At least the JV never beat them. VAR did. But I was coaching JV, and I was not looking forward to that game. And that day, on game day, that girl came with a little bag of cookies. It was brownies, a little thing of brownies. And I said, "What's this for?" She said, "My mom said, good luck for your game." I'm sitting on the bench, and I know you're not supposed to do this as a coach. But I'm eating brownies. Yeah. I'm making subs, and when a girl sit down, "You want a brownie?" It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. I know we're down by 50. You know what? You want a brownie? Right? The brownies just made it better. But I think about that day because it was more than me teaching her child geometry.
Yeah.
Right? This mother said, your teacher's going through something even outside of this classroom that you in. And let me see if I can make it better. It was almost like we were connected as a family too, right? A pseudo family, if you want to say. But I cared about her student. She cared about her child. She cared about me because I cared about her child, right? And we had parent meetings all the time where we just broke bread together. We didn't even have an agenda. We just ate and spoke and talked about their kids and our kids and what we were going to do and how they were learning and what we're going to do as we move on. And so that idea of agency, I think it's on everybody.
Man.
It's on everybody. It's on the parents, the educators. It's on kids, right? Take the agency because that article, that New York Times article, it could have been an April Fool's joke. I was hoping it was because it was on April 1st. But that should never,
ever,
or any form of it shouldn't happen because there's that verbal abuse that I spoke about with that teacher saying, "Well, if I'm writing what you're saying," and that's verbal abuse. Yeah. It's verbal abuse when you are purposely letting kids know in a devious way that what they're saying to you doesn't make sense. Like that's not nice. And so,
because Vernita, let's call it what it is. We train educators and we train teachers to think that they are the all-knowing, all-being when they step into the classroom, and they're not. Most of the time, the kids are smarter than you, right? And my job as an educator was always to go into my classroom and realize I got 20, 30 kids here that are brilliant. How do I bring that shit out of them? So I never looked at myself like, I'm in here knowing all of this. It's like, no. All my kids in here got some dope gift. They got some dope talent. And my job in these 9 months is to pull that shit out of you.
Right. And good
so that everybody can see it in the classroom and be like, yo, Vernita can do this. Yo, Tommy can do this. Hell yeah, they can.
And good educators know exactly what you said is true. Good educators really don't call themselves teachers as much as they do facilitators.
That part.
Right? We facilitate the knowledge that kids are already bringing to the table. And if we're blessed enough, we give them a little more, right? We help them gain knowledge, but in no way do we see ourselves as the primary source of information. Yes, you went to school. Yes, we got degrees. Yes, several of them. And most of us, hopefully, in the content that we teach. But even with that, we know that our children come with a wealth of experiences and knowledge, and for that reason alone, they should not see us as the primary source of information, right? They have to begin to turn and look into each other, themselves, and each other. We become the third, but our job is to facilitate that knowledge. And good educators, you're right, they look past whatever they're being trained to do You and I had this talk, even driving here. Good educators, good teachers, good whatever you want to, good facilitators. We look past what we were trained to do and do what we know to do.
Absolutely.
We look past all of that because even when we were going through, what are the teacher education programs that we had to go through, right? Even going through those programs, they did not prepare us for the children we were going to see.
Oh, no.
They whatever that discipline something class was, you did not prepare me for the children I was going to see when I taught those years.
Hell no. They make that shit seem like kids are just going to come to you.
Right.
They're going to come to you knowing how to read.
Uh-huh.
They're going to come to you knowing how to do math very well. They're going to be so quiet.
They're going to follow everything you ask them to do.
They're going to follow everything you say, and you have to post up a behavior chart and tell kids how to behave.
And they're going to do it.
And they're going to do it, and everything's going to be fine. You're going to have a classroom of 20 people that are just right.
And if they're not doing it, you just got to teach bell to bell, and that'll fix it all. That'll fix it all. Make sure you go bell to bell.
Bullshit on all of that.
None of it mentions a relationship.
None of it.
None of it mentions kids, because I don't know what kids those came from. My kids knew whether you cared or not.
Oh, yeah.
They sized you up real quick. I'll never forget a girl who just sized me. She was like, man, she really like black and brown, huh? She was talking about my clothes.
You got that shit on today.
Right. Because for me, it made sense to wear the same outfit on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I don't have to think and do my laundry on Saturday so I could wear my Monday outfit. So she was like, yeah, you like black and brown. And I went and bought myself I don't know what color, red shirt or whatever, and you would have thought I was a peacock strutting in the class the next day.
Oh, shit, got that
like,
black
okay,
and...
I
see you.
And so, but that idea of relationships, you and I know we wouldn't have made it. Children would have chosen not to learn from us if we didn't develop the relationships that we had with them.
Yeah, and I tell you, when you develop dope relationship with your parents and your kids, it just does something tremendous. I had this one incident, and gosh, I gotta stop. I can't say names while we doing this.
No, I don't think we're supposed to.
But it was one parent who just always gave me the business as it relates to her child. And the child was off the chain. I'm not even going to off the chain all the time. So the parent came in my class. We doing this dope math lesson. Like I'm doing readers theater with my kids. They acting and doing all kind of cool ass shit. She storms into the classroom. She literally curses me out.
3 ways to Thursday.
In front of my entire class.
Everybody.
And I wanted to go in so bad, but I was like, I got all these kids second graders. I got all these second graders.
In the second grade?
Second grade. But she's using every word there is, man. She using it and adding on it to it, right? So I let her do her thing. And I was like, man, when I get in my head, I'm like, when I get you out of this classroom, like, so she came in, did her thing, grabbed her child up. They left for the day, did whatever. Okay. So the next day, I roll up into school. I'm on time, as always. And
can they see my face?
All I see, my principal comes to me. He's like, KiMi, you got all these people standing out in front of your classroom. You got to come to your door. I was like, what's going on? So Lil David in my class had went home and told his dad.
What?
Shout out to David's dad, and I love him to this day. His dad at the time was an active gang member.
Okay.
He had all the homies lined up across my classroom door and said, David came home yesterday and said a parent was all up in your face, cursing at you. Where they at? We came to take care of her.
I shouldn't laugh, but yay.
And I'm looking at David, and David was like, yeah, that's right. I told my daddy, Mr. Wilson, and I was like,
I love it.
In my heart, I'm like, I'm jumping up and down like, they really got my back. But it was because not only had I developed a relationship with David, I also developed a relationship with his dad.
Yeah.
And loved on his dad just like I loved on him, and his dad and his entire family respected me. And they were very clear. I was like, Mr. P, like, y'all gotta bounce. And he was like, no, we're not leaving till she come up. And I was like, you gotta like, it's not a good look right now, bro.
Right.
I appreciate this. I love you for this.
Yeah,
I
but
got
it's
you.
borderline illegal.
But I was like, we
It's
can't
borderline.
do this. We can't do this. But I tell people that, and I say that story all the time.
It's a good story.
Because I tell people, when you love on your kids and you love on their parents,
they show up.
I got invited to so many birthday parties, baptisms, quinceañeras, so many different things because everybody, every parent that knew they brought their kid into my classroom, they got the best from me. They got the world from me.
Everything I had. Everything I had.
And to this day, I got parents and communities that ride for me because I showed them and their child love. And that's important that we miss in education.
And you know, KiMi, that kind of brings me back. I was just looking at the title of even just this podcast, The Cost of Speaking. I know that it came from that negative light of that article, but there's a positive spin, right?
Yeah.
The cost of you speaking with parents, the cost of speaking to build relationships, not only with children, with their families, the cost of that, the result is children learning from us. And not just learning. I mean learning. Learning more than the math. It means them growing up and remembering us. You taught younger students, I taught older students, so it wasn't far or hard for them to come back to me. Even now when I'm traveling through the airport, I hear somebody say, "Oh, Miss So-and-so," and I'm like, you know me from... Right?
You can tell exactly where they know you from.
And sometimes I have to look at them for a while and talk, right? We gotta talk for a minute before I see the little face again. Like, oh, I do remember you. I was just on a Zoom call, and with a few hundred people, but apparently I knew this girl, and I knew her whole family actually. I taught her and her brother, and she actually played on my basketball team. And she when she said, "Hey," in the middle of the Zoom, broke up my whole Zoom. I was facilitating the Zoom call, broke up my whole thing. And she's like, "Do you remember? It's me, Tiara." And I was like, "It's good to see you." I didn't remember that girl from Adam.
You remember her for shit. Look at you.
Until I pinned her while I'm still talking. And then I could see her expressions. Before I knew it, it came to me like, "Oh." And I said, "Did I teach you?" She said, "No, I played basketball for you." That's right. I didn't remember when she said it. But when I started to look at her face, and it is that idea of the cost of speaking has a result. It has a payment, right? In that way for that little girl that we were talking about earlier, her cost for speaking was somebody forcing her, an adult forcing her to put tape on her mouth to shut her up. But the cost of speaking that you and I have done in our careers, building relationships, teaching kids, getting just to know parents. I have relationships with parents that I don't even know where their kids are. Me and the parents are still tight. Right? Just that cost, the payment is building a community. Still strengthening a community that just fosters love and safety and care. I drove up some streets in South LA that I should not have driven up. Or some alleys, right?
Oh,
sometimes you dip to try to save a life.
Real talk.
And I remember one of my kids coming to school the other day and said, "Miss, did you drive in that alley behind 54th?" I said, "Yeah, I was trying to." He said, don't do that no more. It was in the morning. I didn't even know people wake up in the morning to do bad stuff to you, right? It was like 7:15 in the morning.
It don't have no time limits, though.
I just figured you going to wake up, noon makes sense, right? But he said, "Don't do that." Me and my friend, and he was as honest as he could be. He said, "Me and my friends, we were out there, we were going to jack you. Take your," and I just happened to look, they were going to take my car. And they looked, he looked in the window, saw it was me and said, "Don't do that, that's my teacher." And I had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Oh, no. Like, you and I have both taught in areas where real shit happens.
Yeah.
And because we've developed those dope relationships with our kids and our parents.
No worries.
I didn't have no worries. I would stay at school late at night. And one of my parents was like, "Mr. Wilson." I was like, "What's up, man?" He was like, "We got your back." He was like, "Don't make this shit a habit, bro."
Right. You need to get where you need to be.
Are you going to do this? You going to do this? Let us know and we got you. Right? But it's that speaking up to parents, to kids that got us where we are, man. And we're the better for it. And so listen, it's dope to just get into some educational stuff with you because I think what's missing is that educators are real people.
Yeah.
And we come to this shit as real as we can be. And we also want to humanize education, right? It's not so stiff. It's not so boring. It's not so like, you want to have this kind of teaching experience. You got to check out Skoolturf. Everybody, Skoolturf in the building. Clap it up, Skoolturf. Yeah. Check us out online. You can go sign up. We do professional learning communities. You'll see myself. You'll see Vernita. You'll see Hasmin. You'll see Cindy. You'll see somebody from our team where we're doing some amazing things, because the important piece is that we don't want to be the only educators that think like this. We don't want to be the only educators that are doing some amazing things. So y'all out there, go to our website, www.equationtosuccess.com. and check us out. If you just want to dive into any of our services. We do math coaching, math teaching and learning, working with kids, working with administrators, working with whoever, and just making schools better.
Make it better.
So one more time, y'all. Clap it up. Skoolturf. Thank y'all for listening, watching. Peace.